The Transport and Logistics Minister, Frank TAYALI, has cautioned all motorists and other road users to adhere to road safety regulations, road signs, and rail signs whenever they are on the road. Now, this is in connection with the very sad incident occurring where 6 people, including a bus driver and an infant, have died in a road traffic accident involving a Tazara passenger plane and, of course, a Likili public service bus.
Mr. Tayali says the accident that occurred yesterday and took away 6 lives could have been avoided if only the driver of the bus had observed the 10 basic rules of the highway code. Joining us live from Choma is Executive Director, Youth Development Organization Partner Siabutuba. Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. So we'd like you to please unmute your device, and whilst that's being handled, it's unfortunate that we've been seeing a high rate of accidents lately. This particular incident says that it could have been avoided if the driver had obeyed the highway codes. So talk to us about, the picture. Give us a clear picture of what, the current situation is in Zambia as regards safety on the roads and, on the trains.
Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I think that we have had an increase in the number of road traffic accidents in Zambia. Just in 2021 alone, we had over 32,000 road traffic accidents. And so majority of these traffic accidents are being attributed to human error, poor observance over roads, signage, but also in many places there are also no road signs at all. But poor road network also is one of them, but also poor road traffic regulations by authorities. This is what has been attributed to by the Road Safety Agency as to the reason why we have an increase in the number of road traffic accidents in Zambia.
Let's talk about road infrastructure and transportation infrastructure in Zambia. How well do you think that it currently is? Because these are some of the things that are put in place basically to reduce the number of accidents. Do you think Zambia has, a good standard of road and traffic infrastructure? Are there, signs? Are there things that block vehicles from getting onto train tracks? These little things here and there, traffic lights, that of course must be respected and must be obeyed. Are these things in place all over Zambia? Or does, the Hakainde Hichilema government need to work, a lot harder to make sure that road traffic infrastructure is in place?
Generally speaking, our road infrastructure is not in a very good state. The basic things like crossing points, road signage, going as far as the quality of our roads is not so good. And I think that motorists and citizens have generally expressed concern about the
We might be having network challenges and connectivity issues with partner Siabutuba, but we hope that he can join us back to wrap up the conversation. Just yesterday, we're speaking about the unfortunate incidents as well in Londiani in Kenya that had claimed lives as well. And whilst Kenyans are still mourning the lives of innocent Kenyan citizens who unfortunately died as a result of this accident, back here we're talking as well about this one as it's an even more recent situation. Just points to the fact that we do have a challenge, a problem on our hands when it comes to road accidents with the increasing numbers. According to a report that I shared yesterday by World Health Organization.
Quality of our road infrastructure.
Okay, since we have Mr. Siabutuba back, please. Okay, all right.
Oh, seem to have lost him again.
Just yesterday we were talking about the one that happened in Kenya, and also there's one that happened in Nigeria as well, I believe in Anambra State.
Yes.
What it shares with us, or what it shows us, is that we do have a challenge in the area of infrastructure. We have a challenge in the area of implementing these laws. First of all, how aware are people of these laws? How trained are they? How does a bus run into a train track, right? What causes the bus to run into the train track? Or why are you trying to cross the train track? Is there not something that alerts you? In modern climes, in more organized climes, when a train is coming, you would know that there are alarms or the alert system, right? The track is sealed. You can't cross at that point. So do we have these infrastructures in place? Also, are there punitive measures? Not just a situation of Okay, unfortunately, lives have been lost, but there need to be punitive measures. People need to know that it's not enough that, I mean, depending on who's the employer of labor, that whoever you're employing to work, if it's a government institution, if it's a government parastatal, whoever is in charge of the ministry there, the Minister of Transportation has to come and answer questions. Are you putting people that are trained? Are you putting people that understand that there are penalties?
Yeah. I mean, but I think it's still majorly an infrastructure deficit, challenge. I think we have him back. Welcome back. Can you hear us clearly now?
I can hear you. Thank you.
All right. Kindly go ahead. You were talking about infrastructure and the level that it currently is in Zambia.
Yes, I was explaining that the government has invested in some road infrastructure development fund.
All right. As we wrap up this conversation, Mr. Asiabutuba, talk to us.
But okay. This fund does not seem to.
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead. We thought the network had frozen.
Okay, now I was just saying that our government has put up a road fund to improve the quality of the roads. But I think the challenge is the speed at which road maintenance, road construction is being carried out. So you still have a lot of road infrastructure that are in a very, very bad and deplorable state. And so what happened a few days ago where a bus rammed into a train also is a very clear sign of poor road regulation. But I think that majority of that was negligence on the part of the driver, who could have been able to avoid if he had observed traffic rules on the road.
So you're talking about this particular incident, the negligence of the driver. Then who takes the blame? What is being done? Are we hearing anything about compensation for the families of the victims? Is the government speaking about that yet? What's the way forward?
So obviously, there are regulations that are in place. We are hoping that the bus was insured, but also there are basic road rail line signage that drivers are supposed to be warned about the train having packed or the train having blocked the road altogether. These signage are absent, and I think that government, yes, can blame on the driver. It's very easy to do that, but I think that we can do a lot more together, government and the road users, to ensure that the levels of safety on our road are enhanced by putting in place basic requirements such as signage. In a few years ago, we used to have people sitting by the rail crossing to ensure that motorists are warned before they can approach a rail line. These things are not there anymore. So that's basic things that government must get back to enhance security of a traveling public.
All right. Now, aside infrastructure, I also want to talk about the Zambian mentality towards traffic infrastructure and road signs. Because we see, here, I mean, if I'm going to use Lagos, Nigeria, for example, there are certain commercial buses, see traffic lights as, suggestions. They, of course, they're going to obey depending on their mood, but is this the same thing in Zambia? Do people see these traffic infrastructure and road signs here and there and respect them? Just as the government, of course, is encouraged to build more and to, set up a better infrastructure.
There's generally a very bad attitude by the public towards observing traffic rules. But also, there's also an increase in vandalism of road infrastructure, especially those plates that are being used as signage. The public would pick those ones and begin to make different, charcoal braziers out of those. They sell them to different users of these metals, and so we still experience a high level of vandalism on the road signage. But I think this is so much about attitude among the community, including road traffic users. And so together, I think the community and government, we need to see an increase in terms of programs that are supposed to inform the public how to respect road traffic rules, but also how to protect the road infrastructure, because the rate at which they're being broken down is quite a great concern.
All right. Well, this is a conversation that I believe can be had across the continent, not just in Zambia, of course, in the east and the southern part and northern part of the continent. Every, part of the continent really needs better road infrastructure. We've spoken extensively yesterday about how the accident rates across Africa is the highest in the world. But thanks very much for your time this morning. We would like to speak with you again. Hopefully things improve in a very short while. Thanks for your time. Good morning to you.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure having you, and have a great day. Thank you.